Hi there! When you have been out scratching the bottom of the kayak, I like to improve the surface a little bit. Let me show you what I do. I scratch the coaming when I secure the kayak on the roof rack. These are very shallow scratches that need very little sanding. A few strokes with a 240 grit paper, just to even out the edges. They still look ugly white on the black coaming, so I definitely want to get back to the original carbon fiber look. On the deck side I find a more uneven surface. Thus a little bit more sanding is needed. Then I turn the upside down to have a look on the more serious problems. Here I have a lot of different scratches. With the longboard I try to level out the scratches. Some scratches are deep and will not be possible to level. That's okay, as I only want to improve the situation with this treatment. I still work over the whole surface to get it as flat as possible. Also on the longboard I use 240 grit paper. It is quite hot here in the shadow, so I only use the most important personal protection. The face mask in combination with good ventilation. If you want to improve safety, you should consider gloves and full skin coverage. The dust from the polyurethane coat and the epoxy can be detrimental to your health. I work my way back in a systematic pattern. This is to not miss any part. I turn the hulls to access both sides. And proceed with the next part. To prepare for varnish I use alcohol. I wipe off all dust and also some remainings from the sea. I use alcohol here as it's environmental friendly and safe. I will use stronger stuff soon, but this is just to get off most dirt. As there is an open sky here, things might fall down, so I move in under a roof for the next step. The carport is a great place for this work. Well ventilated and less debris than in the open. Now I do a second wipe down. Here I have put on a chemical filter mask and double nitrile gloves to work with butyl acetate. This is one of the solvents in the varnish I am using. It's a protic, so it does not dissolve any salts, but it will remove grease. Thus, it will prepare the surface for the varnish. I wipe down all that has been sanded and some more. I also do the paddle and turn the hulls around to do the other sides as well. Now all surfaces are prepared for the varnish. I use polyurethane varnish, same as I used before on these surfaces. The surfaces improves instantly and the finish is back. I carefully turn the kayak around to not touch the varnished parts. I have laid the kayak down on some leftover timber to keep it from the ground. The ends of the kayak gets the most scratches, but all surfaces gets a new coat. Also here I work systematically from one end to another. Wet in wet makes the best result. Now I am done with the varnish. I also had some cracks down all the way down to the wood. As I am working on the mast I have some epoxy left over. I use this to coat the cracks. The oar will get watertight and will not crack further. As it is treated with cheap one component varnish, I will not cover the oar with varnish. I mix some epoxy with sawdust to make a bigger repair. I will use this to cover this hole in the oar. If I want to do a full restoration, I would need to sand down to the varnish and redo it, but the epoxy repair will probably last longer than the oars anyway. Now I'm ready to go showing off the kayak again. And use a paddle. If you like this episode, please give it a thumb up.